You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome to episode 2 of Inspired right here at DurianAsean with me, Jun Sern. And of course, joining me here today is the same two ladies, Vanda.
Good morning, Jun Sern.
Catherine.
Good morning, Jun Sern and Vanda.
Good morning. Well, let us give a brief introduction again. Vanda is actually a trainer and founder of Proud Lab, and as well as a digital and social media specialist who has a vast experience in this field. Catherine, and she is actually a trainer and a mentor where she is involved in personal growth and development. For those who is following us today, Inspired is actually a show where we share tips and strategies in the area of social media marketing, digital marketing, as well as also talent development. And if you do have any questions you want to ask us, you can always drop us a comment on our Facebook page, and we will try to answer your questions in the next show. Well, today we will be covering two different topics. First is getting it right on LinkedIn with Vanda, and later on the second half of the show, we will be understanding the importance of presentation. Now, let's just start off with Vanda on LinkedIn. Let's just recap again. Why is LinkedIn important when it comes to the business world?
For me, LinkedIn is a way for me to connect to for business. Yeah, for business matters. Maybe for someone is career advancement as well, because there's a lot of professional there, and we share a lot of knowledge, and it's a networking platform for all the businesses. But something bad happened to me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar. The same thing happened the second time in this month since the past 10 days. I was told my account has been restricted.
Oh,
restricted,
okay.
Mm-hmm. So they use the word restricted. It's like, oh my God, my account has been restricted again.
So like suspended lah.
It's sort of, you can't log in.
Mm-hmm.
And, and why did this happen? Because they say they have detected behavior that appears to be violate their terms of service. And for me, I don't remember actually doing anything strange. I've been using this for the past 2-3 years, or are very active on LinkedIn, and I can't think of any of what is violating the term.
I mean, you've been doing the same thing consistently, and then suddenly they just stopped. Yeah, okay.
If I would say that a little bit different now, I can detect the pattern for the last round when I got suspended. If I send out a few of cold connection requests, and for this round again, I sent out a few of cold connection requests, but not many. I'm not the person who keep sending a lot of connection requests, and I think I sent in only about 5 connection. And because before I send in this connection, I actually carefully review whether am I actually wanted to connect with this person, for business purpose. And I did put in a note to mention that, why I want to connect with them. And I did say that, it come in to the LinkedIn suggestion is already a second level connection. And also I put in a note that, we are in the same group anyway. So what I actually wanted to share knowledge and to see any business opportunity. So that's all. I didn't really talk a lot, right? And of course, out of 5 or 6 connections that I sent, I do have 1 or 2 that accepted. And it's fine. I don't really go straight away when people accept your connection. Then suddenly you send a sales proposal. It's very weird. And I have not done any sales proposal on LinkedIn as well.
It's just purely wanting to build your network and
want to build my network, because I realized that I have not been sending connection for a long time. I've been very lazy. But every day I've been taking a lot of connection. I have a lot of connection requests daily. And because I label myself as a lion means LinkedIn open networker, I didn't decline any connection requests. So I will take in anyone who want to connect with me. And even though I know there is a limit to it, do you know that for a LinkedIn account, you have a limit to have not more than 30,000 connections.
Oh, okay.
So once you achieve 30,000 connection, you can't send in any more connection requests. But you still can receive connection, I think.
Okay.
But I have not tried. I have not achieved that because my connection is about close to 12,000. I think I have about 11,900 over. And I kind of like to build a lot of connection because I thought it's good to build a large network. Otherwise, why are you on a social network, right? I think this is the purpose. And every day I will do using Buffer to schedule updates for 3 times a day and to share industry news concerning social media and digital marketing because this is actually my field of practice. And I'm not sure whether this will violate the terms because I kind of schedule the sharing and it go very fixed timing. So I will put morning.
When you schedule, do you use a different program altogether?
I use Buffer app to schedule. So Buffer is a famous scheduling app. But I really wish this time that to talk to LinkedIn and see what caused the issue. Is it because of their engine detect any unusual or anything that very pattern? Like, every day you must have 3 updates at the same time.
A bot.
So probably then I will have to scrap from using the Buffer apps. But I understand a lot of people must be using the Buffer app to schedule because sometimes you can't stay there every day. You see a news, okay, I will schedule it for tomorrow or, for this tonight. You don't, this is a norm for social media management anyway.
Correct.
A lot of companies doing that. Yeah. But one thing I feel very bitter is I'm actually a LinkedIn paying customer. I'm not a normal user.
You're not a user, you're a customer.
I would say I'm a customer. I've been paying them for more than 2 years. I've used their premium accounts and it's not cheap. I pay about $575 per year to use. And this year, when my subscription for yearly premium ended, I actually changed it to monthly. The reason why I changed to monthly because all the time I'm quite happy paying yearly because I get a certain percentage off. When you pay yearly for certain services, you get cheaper, right? So I'll get that discount. So I like that. But the last round, LinkedIn did revamp. Okay. When they did the revamp, a little bit of functionality lost from the premium account, which if you are having a business premium, you're supposed to able to search in certain of your filter, you search for certain businesses according to a few filters, right? For premium account. But when they revamp, I think early this year, when we got a new outlook of LinkedIn, all of a sudden this functionality of certain extra filters has taken away from business premium account. I feel very unfair because I pay for that, right? I pay them a year ahead for the services, and all of a sudden you just take away. And for them, when I ask them about this, they say, "Oh, you can't do anything because it has been decided to take away from you." So it's like, hey, you subscribe to get 10 things, but all of a sudden after halfway, I want to give you 8 things. And the 2 things, suddenly I think I want to take away. And you have no rights to say no, okay? Because this is my platform. This is what my feeling like towards, them or a lot of big platforms like right now, they all practice that way. Okay, it's fine. It's your decision. That's, so I can't do anything, right? Because I still rely on the platform. So I say, okay. Then the next round, I will do a monthly. Monthly, even though I pay a little bit more. I think I pay about either $59 or $69 per month to get that. I think 69. I can't remember. $69 per month to get my premium. And yet, they can restrict my account for twice, right? When they restrict my account, I can't use any of the services there. And I still remember for the past 2 days, I'm very busy in looking into courses, LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn has a very good learning platform. They have many courses there where when you subscribe to premium, you can use all the courses. And I can say they are courses is very, very good. So I get a lot of knowledge from there. Since I'm a trainer, I need to also see how people creating the course structure.
To expand your knowledge also.
Yes, to expand my knowledge and to see how they design their course structure, because they can design in very good way. And I can get a lot of tips from there and learn to create my own course. In the midst of I'm doing this, my account got restricted. So I get kind of paranoid as well, because like you are halfway doing your job, right? And you pay for that. You know, the bitter thing is you pay for that services and you just been, like you can't use it. And you have nobody to call. That's a problem for all this big social network. There's no helpline. You don't have a customer service help desk for you to call. But one thing good about LinkedIn, I will give them a very big credit, is on their Facebook, okay? LinkedIn Facebook page, their admin is very responsive. So that's why I kind of like that, because I actually voice out my concern. I know they can't help me. They are in another department. But they do check for me saying that, hey, you know, the security team has received your appeal on your account restricted. So they are working on that. Okay, so when the account get restricted, they're actually asking me to verify my identity. And I have to submit my my IC. The front IC, the back IC. I have done that the last round and it's okay. And this round I have to do that again. And so the Facebook team is very helpful. I would say they respond to you very fast. But it just said that they can't do anything more. They just can just say that, okay, please be patient. Yeah.
Customer support lah.
Yeah, but I think I give them a credit of their customer support. They are very good in the sense that I keep getting response from there quite fast for the admin. You have to really give them a credit, because if you have faced any other problems, let's say you have your account suspended on Facebook, which I have before, you have nobody to turn to. There's no Facebook admin on Facebook page to entertain you, okay? But at least we have a LinkedIn, personnel to entertain, to talk to you, to explain to you on a Facebook page, which I find is good. I hope they, later on they will have, I suggest to them to have a helpline or chat session for paying customer, at least for paying customer, right? We are considered their customer. And, that's if they want to grow, that's what they're supposed to do.
So, like you said, this is your second time that you experienced this. What happened during the first time, when you got back your account? You went through the same procedure also when you went to Facebook and talked to them, or?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. And they also checked for me, and I got back quite fast, within a day. And but they didn't. The bad thing is they didn't tell you what happened. So I think for this round, I insist to know actually what happened.
So that at least you'll be aware.
Yeah, I'll be aware. And it could be a lot of innocent people get their account restricted or suspended either on Facebook or on LinkedIn. It's due to security issue. It might be someone is attempting to hack your account. So when the attempt to hack to certain account happen, for security reason, they have to suspend the whole account. So it's just maybe the unlucky one. So that you have this issue. Even for Facebook, I faced that before, and I think I didn't do anything. It's just like I suspect it's an attempt to hack. Okay, so for Facebook, it's even more serious, because let's say for a digital marketer like me, and I have a lot of Facebook advertisement accounts tagging on to my accounts, and if it's something suspend, I can't go in and it stop the business. So that's why from there I have a very big learnings. Even though Facebook say one person supposed to have one Facebook account, I think I will have more than one Facebook account, right? Yeah. So you have no choice, because for business, you handle with a business account, using another account just for business. For friends, for social, maybe use another account just for normal, so that you don't lose all your friends. Yeah. So that's what I feel that I'm doing now. And I remember Catherine has a very bad experience, and the account got suspended as well.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be hearing more stories about your LinkedIn and social media account. So coming back, we will listen to the story from Catherine itself.
Okay.
All right.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome back to Inspired, and today we're going to have two different topics. And earlier just now, Vanda was sharing with us about LinkedIn and how important is it to have proper security. And before the break, Vanda did mention that Catherine did have experience in Facebook where her account was suspended. Would you mind sharing with us what exactly happened?
Yes, about 1 year ago, one day when I was logging to my Facebook account, I realized that my Facebook account was hacked by another person in another area. So I was looking for the helpline of Facebook, but I didn't find that. So I submit my appeal. But after a long time, nobody replied my email. So I appeal again. I was hoping that they can give back my account because I have been using that account for a very long time, more than 10 years. I have a lot of stories, photos, and friends over there. So I was just waiting. But I think after many months, 7 months or 8 months, nobody replied me. So I finally decided to give up. So I opened a new account for myself.
Did you pursue further? As in that you
Yeah, I followed up with them twice, but still no response. The only email I received from Facebook customer service is that we acknowledge that we received your request. So our team will come back to you. But until now, never come back. So I have to open a new Facebook account.
What do you think could be the solution for this, I wonder?
I think this is the only solution, is to open another account for Catherine right now. Because I know that a lot, especially the biggest social network, they don't really bother about, any small requests. I think it's short of resources. They can't handle this. They have 2 billion over people, and it's not feasible for them to do this action. So, but I would say that for security reasons, I think next round, because so many attempting to hack things happen, I think we should put in the double authentication feature that implemented by Facebook and LinkedIn and many other social networks as well, because they have this authentication through the phones, right? So if anyone trying to change your password, you definitely will get a notification through the phones. And of course, it will create some troublesome for yourself, because when you want to log in your Facebook account in anywhere or in a different IP, you tend to get that double login as well. And you need to wait for your SMS, for the code, and to put in. So a long step for you, but it can be one way that we should use nowadays because of too many attempts to hack, too many cybercrime happens. We feel very insecure nowadays, right?
It's better to waste a little bit more time to waste a lot of time. I mean, for example, you waste a little bit time to log in, but rather than getting your account hacked or getting your account suspended for a long period of time.
Talking about this, look back at your Gmail account or YouTube account, because I have suddenly remember I have a friend have a YouTube channel for a big YouTube channel he has, right? And he opened that account many years back, 8-9 years back. And those days, they do not have the double authentication. They do not have, you put in your phone number so that Google will authenticate that using the phone. If you don't initiate yourself to put in, those days you can just simply open a Gmail account and YouTube account just like that without your phone number. But nowadays, you need to put in your phone numbers, right, for security reason. So suddenly, his account got hacked. Okay. And it's a very big YouTube channel, and they have earnings from there, and it's very troublesome for the one whole week. Luckily, because of the account is very big, and he got actually chance to prove to YouTube that he has been receiving the payment. Is his because it's under company, so they must have a lot of company document to show, and he get back the accounts. So for people who forgot to put in your phone number to tag to your any social network accounts, I think it's high time for you to put in the numbers now. I still remember last year, I have received 8 notification from Facebook saying that, please verify this is your, please key in this code to change password. But I didn't know anything to change password. So it must be someone out there trying to change my password. And because I activate this phone, and it's actually send me all the SMS. So you see, a lot of hackers out there is there to hack your account and to use your account to do any unlawful things, to scam people. So it's very, very important.
Like, I still remember the one time I spoke to a cybersecurity expert, and I asked him, what is the possibility of of someone hacking into your account? And he told me that actually it's very high. And it's actually not that difficult also, especially when you have something like a very simple password. Lots of people, like I mentioned this now off air, we were just saying that, lots of people tend to, put in password that's easy to remember. Anniversary, birthday, children's birthday, spouse's birthday, or something that is easily remembered. And he said that is actually something that is, the hackers will look at actually. So when it comes to social media, I know we tend to share certain things on social media. It's easy for a hacker to pick it up. So for example, I say, oh, today's my son's birthday. So I said, okay, son's birthday. Oh, okay, 14 January, for example. You put it down. So if he planned to actually hack into your account, I just have to key in these few things. Just test. Just because all I have to do is by chance, by the probability. I just put, once I see a pattern, it's easier for me already. Then I say, hey, maybe, other accounts, they use the same thing, because we most averagely, everyone use the same password for a lot of account. Your bank account, your email account, your social media account, and God knows what other accounts also. So, with, we said, we tend to neglect this kind of thing. We take things for granted. And we do not see the importance of having proper password. Then I asked him, I said, how often do you think we should change your password? He said, if you are a very high profile person, he said, actually on a daily basis, which I go like, wow, hola, 365 passwords, how I'm going to remember. So he said, actually not really. I mean, there's a few ways that we can go around it. You don't have to change it every week, every day. You can change it every month. But if you are a little bit more paranoid, maybe every week you just change the password. And I asked him, usually what are the password that you think is difficult? He said it's not, the hackers will not say that they won't hack your thing, but it's you give them a deterrent. That means you give them a longer buffer time. So for them, be like, this is a bit too much already. So I just step back. I don't want to hack this. I go for an easier target. So he said what you do is sometimes you put the lyrics of your song. Just one line of the lyrics. So it could be a very long password. It could be maybe like 20, 30 words. But I told him, I said, how do I remember the whole thing? He's like, you just take different lyrics lah. You don't have only one favorite song. You have a few favorite songs. So you have different lyrics. Maybe your favorite chorus, your favorite verse from the song is easier for you to remember. And then change certain alphabets to numbers. Like for example, O, you change to 0. Like A, you change to 4. For something like that, and certain caps you put, like things that you can remember easier. He said, because this kind of things, for a hacker, at least it buys you time. And when they see there's a little bit more challenging, then they say, okay, maybe I go another one. It's not worth it, not worth the time. So that was actually one of the things I heard. Then I remember immediately after he told me, I went back, I changed all my password. I got really scared because the way he showed me, he actually showed me how fast he can actually hack into a system. It's less than a minute.
Do they use special tools to do this?
There are tools out there. I think if you just Google and said hacking, I think there's a class on hacking. I remember I got a notification on Facebook that someone sent a sponsored link.
Yeah.
Learn to hack.
Yeah, they call that ethical hacking.
So I was like, I mean, ethical or not, it's still hacking.
Yeah, but
correct?
You have to sell that as ethical
exactly.
hacking, right?
So, he said actually a lot of people are able to hack, especially those that is very familiar with programming language. It's just a matter of whether they want to or not. So I was like, okay. So like now, if you notice, a lot of websites or a lot of social media websites, they tend to have more security measures. And like you said now, even my Google, sometimes when I log in with a different PC, and they said you have logged in your Google at this area. Is this you? If it is, then ignore this email. If it's not, please click clear. And I think that's actually a very good measure. At least now you know. Because I have multiple email accounts. So from there, I linked a few of them together. So when anything happens, my phone will get notifications. Even like you said, message or email. You get all these kind of things. So I think it's actually quite good.
Okay. Yeah, another way of keeping track is probably to have offline tracking. Just take a very traditional way, take a diaries, write it down.
I don't think so. They will hack that lah.
Yes.
Unless you take a photo.
Yeah, and carry in your bag or the diary book. It's like, this is what my mom's teaching. He say, you have to keep a diary and not putting on the soft copy. What if you lost your computers? Yeah.
Keep it in the old biscuit tin.
Yes.
Hide it under the bed.
Yeah. And if you say, oh, I store on the cloud. Nowadays people say, hey, everything I store on the cloud. But people might hack your cloud. When they hack your cloud, all your passwords
I get
gone.
really paranoid. No? Sometimes even like for me, my friend, I say, hey, what are you doing? He said, I told him, I said, I'm actually backing up all my files. I'm going to keep it on a hard disk and then keep it in my room. So in case anything happen, I know there's a external backup.
Okay, so you are actually keeping external in the room, not on the cloud.
Not on the cloud. I mean, I do have cloud, like, for example, those that I need to use it on a daily basis, I'll keep it in the cloud because I need to access it here and there. But those that, like sometimes you have like your family vacation, the photos and all those things. Sometimes I just don't want to keep it in the cloud. I like keeping it somewhere safer in case something happens. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have nowadays portable hard disk is not expensive. Yeah.
I have something interesting to share. I have a friend who is working in a IT security department in a big company. So one day when I was talking to her, I realized that she put a notebook, a hard copy notebook in her bag when she was going home. So I said, what is that? She said, oh, because I'm working in IT security department, so this notebook actually keep all the important password. So I said, why do you bring back every day? She said, because I finish my work on time, but my colleagues, they work very late. So sometimes when I'm at home, they ask me, hey, I forgot the password of certain things. Can you let me know? So immediately I can let them know. So I said, oh, since you are traveling by LRT, you make sure your notebook is not robbed by another person. So she said it's okay.
That's physical hacking.
So she said it's okay if I'm robbed because there are another book. This book does not keep complete password. Another half of a password is kept with another person.
Wow. Well, that's very high security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must find two people at the same time to notebook together so you can guess out what is a password.
Yeah. All the while, I'm a very online person. I don't like offline thing. But now I tend, we need to appreciate some offline thing now and go back to traditional ways.
So, Catherine, you said that your Facebook was hacked before this. So, what are the measures you start taking now? Are you more vigilant and in terms of like security? Are you more careful in terms of what you call your password and so on?
I use the same password to log into my Facebook account like during the past 10 years. So I was not so active at that time. So after some time, I think it's about half a year, I didn't log in. And suddenly one day I log in and I received a message. It was said a person in Taiwan hacked your Facebook account. So I thought someone just play a joke with me. So I didn't make it very important in my priority list. But later when I come back to log in again, I realized it was blocked by Facebook. So I totally lost the control of my Facebook account until today.
But now that you started a new account, do you take any measures? Do you start changing your password now and then, or are you more careful?
I'm sorry to say that I was not aware to change my password so frequently, but I think after today's session, I need to change it quarterly. Yeah.
What about you, Vanda?
I think I will do it traditional way, keeping the notebook. Yeah, I want to do that. And I want to, of course, activate all double authentication using phones. And I find, when your account get all this thing, you are pretty helpless, right? Don't know what to do, especially for LinkedIn that you rely the business is there and then doing this for business and has been invested not only time but money to nurture the accounts, and you got this type of treatment is very bitter. But from this, I actually got a realization. I got kind of like angry for this, like unhappy for my accounts and feel like lost. But it's in terms of what I'm thinking I'm losing out is maybe the time and the time and money, right? But again, but it's not friendship. It is compared to, let's say, my Facebook got hacked or got suspended. I think can even create more, emotional disturb to me. Yeah. So it's from there I realized, I value more friendship than I don't want to lose all my friends. I don't mind to lose the business acquaintance, right? So that is what, from my point. Yeah.
That's good. So, end of the day, what I think the advice is that we have to start constantly reading the fine prints.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember last time one of my friends on Facebook, he told me, do you know that Facebook now have a new algorithm where you can do this, you can do that. Then he said that they don't announce it like that. So you have to be aware.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be aware.
There are 1,001 rules on Facebook. We can talk to this in the next round.
We'll do another session on this one. All right, we're going to be taking a short break. Coming back, we're going to be learning about presentation with Catherine right here on Inspired at DurianAsean.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome back to Inspired on DurianAsean with me, Jun Sern, and along with me is Vanda and Catherine. Well, earlier on just now we were looking at social media, LinkedIn, and how important is it. But now we're moving on to the second part, which is presentation or the art of presentation. And Catherine will be sharing with us the importance of presentation. So let's start off with what exactly is presentation?
Presentation is a means of communication that can be adapted into various of situations. For example, talking to an individual, talking to a group, briefing to a team, and addressing in meeting. So it is to present ideas and information to people, and the purpose of presentation is to sell, persuade, inform, or entertain.
So, when it comes to presentation, right, what are the impacts, like whether a good or bad presentation gives?
A good presentation is the best self-branding approach and the most effective ways of communication. I want to give a typical example in my network. My cousin studying the mass communication in university, but now she's doing interior design. So many people asked her, how come you become an interior designer while you were studying mass communication in university? So she shared this with me. She said most people thought her job was only about interior design. However, the truth is that only 14% of her time was spent in interior design. Another 16% of the time was spent in presenting to clients. The presentation about what, for example, she will present to the client what is called a good design, what is called bad design, and she will present to the client what is the best design package within the budget you gave to me. So, to an interior designer, if you try your best to come out with the design package, which is not recognized or appreciated by your client, that is not called good design. So, to my cousin, to a large extent, whether she is a good designer or not depends on her presentation skills.
What about the impact of a bad presentation?
A bad presentation will make people think you are not good at what you are doing. A typical example is that many years ago in Taiwan, the conflict between doctors and the patient were very serious. So serious that doctors and the patients relatives will fight with each other. So serious that many daughters were beat by patients' relatives because of the poor presentation skills. So that's why nowadays in Taiwan, many medical universities, they open presentation classes to its students. And according to another research done by the University of Tennessee in the U.S., it shows that those doctors who were sued by patients were not the doctors with the less working experience or with less skill, but those doctors who have the least presentation skills, which will normally annoy the patient.
So they are unable to explain clearly the whole situation to the patients, the doctors.
Yes, exactly. So the research shows that to a patient, if this doctor can present themselves very well, this patient or the patient family members will think, even the situation becomes worse and worse, they still think the doctor has tried his best. However, on the other hand, if this doctor cannot present himself very well, even the patient recover later, the patient or the family members will think the patient suffer unnecessary pain because of this doctor. And I also realized a very interesting phenomenon in both China and Malaysia. That is, in hospital, if this doctor has conducted a public talk, even the public talk is about 1 hour or 2 hours, this doctor will definitely have more patients than other doctors who have never conducted a talk for the hospital. So that is very interesting about good presentation and bad presentation impact.
Talking about doctors, I remember there's one research done recently, not recently, quite a while ago, and it's done by the medical board of the US, and they said that 70% of what I call mistakes at work is due to bad communication or bad presentation.
And doctor is a very special occupation because doctor's job is to brief patient. What's wrong with you? What are the diseases you have? People normally will not feel happy if they receive bad news. Back into 1,000 years ago, if someone report a bad news to a king, the king will even kill him if he doesn't like that news. So the same situation is applied to today. So when people come to hospital, normally something wrong with them, but they don't want to know that kind of news. So in this situation, if doctor cannot present themselves very well, the conflict will exist. So that's why in Taiwan, some patients, family members even beat the doctor, because they think it's doctor's responsibility, cause the situation become worse and worse.
So that's why presentation is very, very important.
Yes.
So what are the basic misconceptions about presentation that you came across?
There are two basic misconceptions many people will have. The first misconception is that many people actually think they can present very well in front of others because they can talk easily. So for those people, they don't understand that presentation actually is a skill, is a subject like any subject you study in university, like law, accounting, philosophy. I remember many years ago when I was a member in my university speech and debate society. There was once we represented our university to attend the national debate contest in Beijing. So before we depart, the university invite a VIP to speak to us. The purpose of his speaking is to motivate us. So on the stage, the VIP asked my coach, "What is the competition your team is going to participate?" My coach told him, "Oh, it's a national debate contest." So this VIP immediately said, "Oh, it's about debate. Let me share something with you about debate." I was listening to her, so immediately I turned to my teammate. I said, "How can she be so confidently that she can share some tips with us in terms of debate?" Let's say if today we are attending a tennis tournament, will she be able to share some tips about tennis with us immediately on the stage? Or will she be able to play tennis with us on the stage? So many people do not understand this. So let me give an example. It's like Olympic sports activity. One of the Olympic sports activity is running. So who doesn't know how to run? Everybody know how to run. But today, if you are sitting beside the greatest sprinter in the world, Usain Bolt, when you share with him, hey, let me share with you some tips about running, you would not, because you understand running is a skill. Another example is like lifting something from a lower position to a higher position. This is also one of the Olympic sports. So today, if you are sitting with a Olympic lifting player, you will not say to him like, let me share with you some tips about lifting, because you understand this person need to be trained by a professional with a professional background. He cannot be trained by a ordinary person. So those people who think they are quite talkative, they don't understand presentation is not about talkative. Presentation is about when you are required to present something serious or something related to business, you can still retain people's attention. It is not about how many advanced vocabularies you master. It's about how much valuable information you provide to your audience. So that is first misconception. The second misconception is many people will relate presenters' IQ with presenters' presentation skills, which means they are less tolerant if presenter make mistakes during their presentation. 1,000 years ago, a Greek philosopher and the scientist Aristotle once mentioned, no other competency is like presentation competency, which is always being criticized by people. I give an example again related to Olympic sports. So one of the if you watch baseball before, you would know that for most baseball players, their career batting average is only between 20 to 40. What does that mean? It means out of 100 balls, those baseball player can only pick up 20 to 14 balls. Michael Jordan, his average shooting percentage is only 15%. This means half of the shooting was not successful during his career. But people can understand this. People would not criticize a baseball player if this person didn't pick up a ball. Or people will not criticize a basketball player if this basketball player lose a shoot. But when it comes to presentation, people will be more demanding. For example, if today Jun Sern introduced me as a good presenter to the audience, if I make a mistake during my 1 hour presentation, people will think I'm a silly presenter. But if today Jun Sern introduced a basketball player to the audience, and during the first half an hour show, the basketball player didn't shoot successfully, the audience will think it's very normal. We can accept that. So that is why when it comes to presentation, the success rate must be 100%. No mistake is allowed by the audience.
So which means when come to presentation, you mean people are more harsh to the presenter.
Yes.
They are more demanding.
There's more expectation there.
Yeah.
People are not allowed, presenters are not allowed to make mistakes. But actually, when we come back to the sports like baseball or basketball, presentation is also like a skill. You need to practice again and again. And it is very natural. You cannot perform very well up to 100% every time. Because even the greatest baseball player, his maximum batting average is only 14%. Not more than 14%. Yeah.
But I mean, Vanda, you've done a few trainings. How do you think? How important do you think presentation is?
I think presentation, from a trainer's point of view, for me, is very important. I try not to be boring. Presenter must actually have an eye for the audience to see what is the reaction of your audience when you speak, when you present, because If they show no interest, that means something wrong with you. So you attend, oh my God, my presentation must be very bad or very boring. That caused my audience to lose interest. So it's my fault, right? For me, I think that if you are willing to sit there to listen to my presentation, I owe you a favor because you actually devoted your priceless time to me, right? So I think I need to do a good job on that. So that's why there are many people think when they look at presentation, their expectation is more because it's actually their time. I spend my time to listen to you. You have to have value added. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. So that's why they become very harsh to the presenter, right?
Yeah. And in other situations, people seldom relate a person's IQ with this person's professional skill. For example, if you would not comment like this person is silly, so that's why his English is poor, or this person is silly, so that's why he cannot play baseball. But after a presenter did a bad job or not so good job, people will think, this person like sounds a little bit silly, or this person actually doesn't know what she is doing. The people will give this kind of harsh comment. Yeah.
All right, we're going to be taking a short break, and coming back, we're going to delve more into the art of presentation. This is inspired on DurianAsean.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome back to Inspired on DurianAsean with me, Jun Sern, and of course with me here is Vanda and Catherine. And right before the break, we talk about presentation, the impact of a good and bad presentation and the basic misconceptions of presentation. So now let's look into another area. How important is it to have good presentation skills when it comes to the working world?
Yeah, I think this is a very good question because many of us are working for a big corporate or small companies. So when it comes to the working world, presentation is not only a competency or a skill anymore. It is something that decides whether you can obtain the resources you want to execute your working plan or not. So in summary, presentation is something that can help you to earn your rights to do something you want or to do something great. Everybody hopes that himself to be understood and appreciated by others. But if this person in corporate cannot present his idea very clearly, gradually people will ignore him and people will not give him chances to speak anymore. So this person eventually will feel frustrated and upset because he loses the right to speak and he loses the chances to obtain the resources he wants to do his working plan. 100 years ago, if a person wants to present his idea, he need to have high social status first. Then people will listen to him. But today, in our corporate world, if you want to do something first, you must present your ideas first. Present your ideas and communicate, persuade, negotiate. Sometimes even you have to debate with someone else. It is through this process time and time again, and you earn the right to obtain the resources, and you earn the right to execute your working plan.
So, I mean, if just say I were to start, let's say like now I don't have any knowledge about presentation. I know what is presentation, but I want to start to be a presenter. What do you think are the areas that I need to learn and pick up first?
For audience, I would recommend that you first apply the technique called the 4S. It's SSSS. The first S means study. Studying all the information about presentation. For example, you can study presentation by watching TED videos. You can listen to keynote speaker. You can read presentation books, and you can even participate presentation workshops. It's because you receive so much information. Later, you will have output. And the second S is speak. Actually, presentation is like any other skills, such as driving, cooking, or swimming. After you learn all the information, you get the input, you need to put it into practice. Practice make perfect. So you keep keep speaking. So that's how you get more chances to improve yourself. The third S will be seek feedback from others. It's through the feedback from others you will know what are you good at in presentation and what you need to improve in the future. It is very difficult for us to see our presentation style from a very comprehensive angles. But when you present to others, people give you feedback. You know, or like I'm this kind of presenter in other people's eyes, or I always pronounce this word wrongly, or I always miss out this important factor in my presentation. Other people's feedback actually is like a mirror to yourself. And the last but not least, the S is you seek opportunity to attend speech contest. So after you got all the information, after you have enough chances to practice your presentation skills, you need a bigger platform. A bigger platform to meet bigger people and to meet various of speaking style speakers. It's where you can learn from them. You can treat those speakers as your mentor, as your coach. You can learn from them and also avoid the mistakes they made on the stage. So that's how you can bring yourself to the next stage. So it's 4S, S.
Study, speak, seek feedback, and seek opportunity.
Yes.
So if just say like we were to venture into presentation, what do you think is the first step for someone to do it? Because sometimes, we have confidence problem and all those things, but I want to present, but I got no confidence or self-esteem. What would be your advice if you were to give?
My advice is that if we want to present like someone we admire, we just model that person. Or maybe we don't model one person. We model like 5 people or 10 people at the beginning. So the shortcut is if you want to be successful, you just model those people who are already successful. If you like Steve Jobs, you go to watch his video, how he present himself. So that's what we already mentioned in the first S. You studying other people, study material or you watch video. Yeah.
I still remember last time there's one situation where, when I was younger, then my relative said, wow, he can talk very well. Sure can become a lawyer or sure can become a presenter. And after coming into this communication industry, I realized that is not the case. Like you mentioned just now, even though if you speak well, that does not mean that you're a good presenter.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes. I have a friend who is working in Astra. She shared with me before she worked for Astra, she already thought she was an excellent, outstanding presenter. But only when she joined Astra, she realized that she is poor in presenting her ideas. The first task which was given by her boss is you must talk continuously for 3 minutes. I don't care whatever you talk, but you must talk meaningful things. So after 1 minute, she stopped. Her boss asked her, why do you stop? She said, because I finished my talk. I have nothing more to produce. Then her boss said, no, it's not like this. Anybody in this company can talk non-stop, like 3 minutes. So you need to talk. So that's why many people think, I'm very talkative. I can start a topic very easily. I can make people laugh. But presentation is not about that. It's not about talkative or make people laugh. Presentation is you can articulate your thoughts in a very clear way. Is when people give you questions, you can answer their question, you can convince them, you can persuade them.
End of the day is to get the message across so that your listeners or your participants will be able to understand what you're trying to pass to them.
Yes.
What about you, Vanda? I mean, what was the first few tips when you got when you first started into the training industry in terms of presentation?
The first time, I think, is to get rid of the butterfly from your stomach. Yeah. Is to actually think you are better than the audience, So I like that you treat people like friends. A sharing session. They are here to come here to listen because I want to help them to understand certain topics. So with that type of thinking, I feel better. So I'm not there to stand in the middle to be intimidated by people, but is to help them, right? So you make yourself like a guru like a specialist, then you are feel more comfortable and to present your ideas. Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to share, Catherine?
In my future sessions, I would like share some techniques, like how can you make your presentation more persuasive, convincing? How can you conquer your fear when you are standing in front of others? Yeah, I will cover all those technique things.
So it looks like we have come to the end of the show, and what I call. Once again, if you have any questions for these two lovely ladies, you can drop a comment on our Facebook page at DurianAsean, and we will try to answer it on our next show. And again, to round up everything, we start off with the first session just now we have about LinkedIn. The most important thing is always to read the fine print, correct?
Yes.
Read the fine print. Always ensure that you post according to
what they want.
Change your passwords. Okay. And then, when it comes to the second session where we have the presentation, always remember about the 4S, which is study, speak, seek feedback, seek opportunity. And if you're not sure how you want to present, look at someone and follow them.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. So, I would like to thank again Vanda and Catherine for sharing their insights for today. So do stay tuned to us as we will bring you more interesting topics in the coming weeks. Once again, I'm Jun Sern, and along with me is
Vanda.
Catherine.
This is Inspired. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.